I'm going to throw at you all the games. Brandy,
Yes.
you weren't with us Friday morning. A quick summation, a quick word on Rabbitohs and Panthers. Now, I said I have reached the point the crown has slipped on Penrith. And I say that with this qualification, the next man up is less than in ability to what they had previously. And I say that on the basis of the last 2-3 weeks. You know, their character,
That's
there's
fair
all
enough
of that,
to say that.
but they are not performing at the same level as what they have the last years when they've lost a player.
I agree with that. And therefore, injuries become even more
that's
pertinent.
Right. Yep.
Where Nathan Cleary missed a lot of football last year, they could still get the job done with Jerome Luai there.
Correct.
So in terms of next man up, they're rookies.
The other night it was Cole and Tolau.
Well, they're
6
rookies.
and 7.
They are rookies.
Tom Jenkins comes in, 13th first grade.
That's right. So it is
it's a problem.
It's a lot different to what it has been over the last 4 years, where the next man up just hasn't got enough first grade experience to get the job done.
All right. What response are you expecting from Panthers? In all seriousness, after a third straight loss, first time since 2019, over 2,000 days since they've lost 3 in a row.
Well, I think it gets better when Edwards and Cleary return. I've got no doubt about that. You know, and there was mistakes made on the weekend that were just had not happened
Cleary
for
said
5
comical.
years.
Ivan Cleary's words were comical.
Hadn't happened for 5 years. So, and there was a couple of games. There was a game last week. Remember, Manly dominated possession and crazy numbers in terms. South Sydney did that against
in the
Penrith.
first half, yeah.
They like, I think 18% of the ball. So, not good enough. And South's again very plucky. Like
First
South's
half,
just
I thought
able to
first
get
half
the job
better
done.
than that. First half they were better than that. Second half, I think a good side would have put 30 on them.
Yeah.
That's how poor I thought South were in the second half.
Penrith.
So South.
Oh,
I thought South second
Souths
half
were there to be
were
got.
that poor
but Penrith
that a
couldn't do
team
it.
would have run them down, would have got 30. Penrith in form would have put 30 on South in the second half.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it.
Yeah. So Souths have won 3 games now.
They have.
They sit on 6 points.
Friday
that's
night,
good.
Roosters, Titans. Now, we have been glowing in praise of the Titans. There's a football side there.
There is.
Are we now seeing it? Like are they?
Yeah. Well, just. Well, yeah. There was a couple of lucky moments, like the Campbell intercept, the drop ball from Nwanga Nitawase, led to a try that AJ Brinson just scooped on the loose ball. So, yes, getting closer, Andrew, and with the pack that they've got, and some of the attack and the weapons they do have with the ball, I'm not going to say they'll make the 8, but they'll be better than they were last year.
Quick answer to this one. What do Roosters do around halfback? Do you keep Chad Townsend there or do you make a change now? Is Chad go back to the reason they signed him to just help develop and play a role sort of more off the field than on the field?
Well, who do you put there?
Well, I don't know. They have to be inventive and
Hugo?
Sandon Smith and
the young Hugo who is a halfback.
Rodwell, does Connor Watson go in the halves? Anything?
I don't know. That's it. No, I can't answer that.
Dolphins, Broncos. Dolphins are now 0-4.
Dolphins look terrible with the ball, and I know Christian Wolf said I was happy with Hammer's game. I thought he played well. I haven't seen the Hammer. I haven't spotted him. Cody Nikorima wasn't good, and if Cody's not good, so. Broncos again, third gear, sort of just got the job done without being flash.
20 points as well.
So Broncos just keep, Broncos get the points, but the Dolphins are, they're in for a long year.
What do you make of Saturday?
You know what I thought about the Wayne Bennett? And Wayne Bennett has garnered Wayne Bennett's been in the news last week about what happens to the sides after he, right back to Ivan Henjak.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't a club... Why does Wayne have to appoint the coach?
Anoint someone,
Why does he anoint someone? Why don't they just say, you know what, Wayne? We're going outside. We're going to do something a little bit different. You're not anointing the coach. We're just going to pick a coach. Something different.
That's interesting.
That took up a little bit of my time last week.
There we go. 1300 01 1170 if you'd like to comment on Greg Alexander. Dragon Storm, my takeaway, had Flanagan written all over it. Coach Flanagan can get a side up.
Yep.
And backs to the wall. No one thinks we can win. Play tough. Force them off their game, and they did that with Melbourne, and just hang in there.
Yeah, that's what it was. They just hung in there. They were desperate. They were courageous. They made some errors. They weren't flash, they weren't great with the ball, but they just played tough. They played tough. and that'll get them more wins if they continue to play that good. Like in terms of courage and effort, and I guess there's still a fair bit to work on.
Melbourne, obviously, Craig Bellamy will work them hard this week after that result. Harry Voss wants to contribute to that. He says Flanagan's the GOAT for that result. He was all in on that.
Happy.
Cowboys Raiders. Cowboys get their first win of the season. What did we learn about the two teams here?
Well, it's hard to maintain. I thought the Raiders, who could just absolutely forget about what happened at Brookvale Oval because they weren't that bad. They weren't that bad. Corey Horsburgh off. There were circumstances which led to Manly just having all the ball and scoring tries, which were off kicks and close to the line tries. So I thought the Raiders could move on from that. It was wet and slippery. It was a weekend of wet and slippery conditions. It was humid up there. They had drink breaks, a long half time. They've got a bit to do, and I'm sure I think we've got a little bit of Ricky too.
We have, yes, Ricky.
So I think it's probably pertinent to play Ricky right now.
Players where you're impressed with?
Oh, they know, mate. More importantly, I reckon the blokes that I'm not impressed with know as well.
There we go.
Yeah,
so the question was, Ricky, who were you impressed with? There was a couple of good performances. Joe Tarpany came back, and Tarpany was good in periods of the game. But we've already spoken about Jake Clifford, Tom Dearden.
Dearden got man of the match with both Dalium judges.
I was one of the judges.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah,
there we go.
I don't mind the putting my hand up.
You've been pinned. And Ricky, obviously, a little salty.
Yes.
Raiders play Thursday night at GIO against Cronulla. So that's a high-pressure stakes game.
That is a big game for both clubs.
Continue on with our review. Sharks, Bulldogs. Spoke about this one earlier. Bulldogs just so committed. I'm going to make this statement. Mm-hmm. They've cloned Penrith. Bulldogs have just bought into everything. And why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you copy what the four-time champion's done? But Canterbury are doing it. Canterbury's next man up stuff. The way Bailey Hayward played. Preston has to move over to the left side, cover kick-out. Mm-hmm. I thought a really tough performance. I don't think any side beats Canterbury in this competition on Saturday night. They were so committed.
Yeah,
they don't run away and thrash anyone, but no one beats them. And Cronulla have massive question marks on. Yeah, have they improved at all from recent seasons where they've come up short?
We had a few texts to say were the Dogs that good? Were the Dogs that good, and were the Sharks as bad as what you're saying? Well, I guess the Sharks were bad because of the Dogs.
Yes, I agree with that.
That is the reason.
Battered into submission.
And the Dogs were great, but we didn't see enough fire or enough fight from the Sharks. That's what was missing. And I think in terms of our commentary around this game, the Dogs were brutal. Their kick chase was fantastic, and that's without Burton and kick out. They're important. They're important. It's important to mention that.
Yeah, Reid Mahoney incident. I have to stand by what I thought at the time. Daniel Atkinson lying on the ground, and Reid Mahoney comes in, and I say, anyone lying on the ground just with a ball, tackle's not complete. You're allowed to go in and smash them, and that's fine. But if you make contact with a head on a player on the ground, I think you're sin binned. I don't think it's any debate.
No,
it's clear cut. It's careless.
Well, it's intent.
If you make contact when you've got the whole body to aim at on a bloke on the ground, it's not an upright figure dropping or anything. It's a player prone on the ground.
Not moving.
No excuse. Not moving.
He doesn't fall into
Bang,
you.
No. You have a whole target. You can go his legs. You can go his nuts if you want.
Yeah.
But, just drive in hard. But not his head.
No.
Not his big head.
No, not his head.
So this is Reid Mahoney. His thoughts on that incident from Saturday night. He wasn't sin binned. He has been fined subsequently by the match review committee, but this is what Reid had to say.
If someone's laying on the ground, I'm not going to go and just lay on him. It's a tough sport, mate, and you're going to carry on like that. It's just playing footy. It's Bulldog footy. We're tough. It's just what we do. So, no, I don't think so at all.
Yeah, so I agree with that point.
Yeah.
But you can't
make contact with the head.
So why didn't the referee sin bin him?
That's a good point.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brandy.
Thank
you, Greg.
Very good point.
Tigers, Warriors. Manly, Parramatta.
Yes.
Parramatta have got spoon written all over them at the moment. Like, there's no points in Parramatta. No, Moses will come back.
Moses will make a difference.
Yep.
Make a difference. And then I think Brown will be better when Moses is back.
Yep.
That doesn't give Newcastle it doesn't bring any joy to Newcastle thinking, well, Dylan, how's he running the side at the moment? Don't know.
Nothing.
Manly were in third gear for most of the game. Yep. Started off almost a point a minute and then just sort of put the cue in the rack and got through it. But the biggest story out of that is the Tom Trbojevic injury again, an MCL. So a medial ligament on the left knee.
Not good.
No, not good. And
All
that's
right.
4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
If it is, that's how it turns out. Now,
last game, you haven't done Tigers Warriors?
We haven't done Tigers Warriors.
No.
Last week I said I felt sorry for Campbell Graham.
Yeah. Oh, you got
played for South.
I feel sorry for segment. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, I felt sorry for Campbell Graham, who got absolutely smashed last week.
Yep.
And I can't remember who did South play last week.
That was Cronulla.
Cronulla smashed.
And now he's
him.
out.
And now he got injured. Got injured.
Damn.
So that was half felt. I did mean that.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, he's a good young man. I like Campbell. I felt sorry for the Tigers last night. Even though I'm a former Warrior, I just I thought they're going to win 3 in a row for the first time in what, a decade or longer, longer than that. And they scored 2 tries that were taken off
disallowed,
them, which were right. The decisions were correct.
Yeah.
They were correct, but they just looked the better team. They looked like they were winning. They're winning. Then all of a sudden, the front rower runs 70 metres down the sideline. And then the penalty. Chance. If Chance had to get up and play the ball quick to win the game, he would have.
Yes.
I don't think he was hurt. He fell into poor old Seyfarth just standing his ground.
Yeah.
He fell into him, stayed down, got the penalty.
And took the next play from the penalty. No, they kicked the goal, but then he's involved in play. He hasn't missed a beat.
Wrong with him.
Hasn't missed a beat.
There was nothing wrong.
So Metcalf kicks the goal. My man Metcalf. I'm on the Luke Metcalf bus, as you know, has got better and better since Vegas.
Yeah.
Like he's
played good.
And then the goal kicking under pressure. It's okay to say he was in front, but it's 40 out in the moment and all that. No, he steps up. I think he's
kicked the goal too.
Real good player.
From Halasima, could have run around, but he was midway. So
Warriors 3 wins. Just what we played earlier, just to finish the wrap. Benji Marshall on that decision, and Nico Pajarillo from Fox League tried to probe Benji, and I thought Benji getting out of this was an interesting exchange.
Did you find that the boys sort of were sort of hard done by out there by a few of the decisions?
You were watching the game, you write whatever you think. I don't want to do what Ricky did. I don't want to risk getting fined and talk about the ref because we're not allowed to. So I won't bring it up.
You're allowed to talk about decisions though. Was there any moments in there that...
I don't think we are. It's a fine for you, mate.
That's a fine for you.
That's a fine for you.
Nico, fine.
Yeah, there's nothing more to say.
No, thank you, Benji. And lovely little intervention there from it's someone's phone going off. That is a great ringtone. Oh, that's embarrassing, isn't it? That should be a fine. Peter Volandis, what are you doing? Find out whose phone that was. I reckon that was probably Carianis' phone.
Anthony says the Broncos did that to Wayne Brandy after he anointed Jason Demetrio. The club went out and signed Anthony Seibold instead. Look how that turned out. But Wayne couldn't anoint because Wayne got shafted.
Yeah.
Wayne got kicked out.
Yeah.
He was sacked. Yeah. He didn't say, well, I'm leaving now. I'm going. Here's the coach that you're taking. So
well, folks,
a little bit different.
Folks, guess what? That has been our round review. We've gone over time, I know, but there's so much to unpack. If you want to contribute to it, get on the text line, get on the open line. Breakfast with Vossy and Brandy here on the home of Sport SEN for Bryden's Lawyers.
You know, Michael, doctors say a proper breakfast includes eggs, bacon and breakfast with Vossy and Brandy. So get your daily fix through our socials and listen live on SEN Radio.